Barack Obama released a new book, and I'm sure I could sit here and do 1,000 segments on it. I already saw Ben Norton tweeted a portion of it where he defends his drone war, which killed a lot of civilians. He also said he was never a wholesale critic of George W. Bush's entire counterterrorism strategy. That's the problem. That's the problem. So I could talk about that. I could talk about a million different parts of it. But I want to show you this one because it made me laugh, and I feel compelled to share it all with you for a variety of reasons. So as one of the Chapo Trap House guys said, it feels like Obama's written like 5 autobiographies now. And, his stuff is like me. Now, I get it. You were the president. That's interesting enough, and people are going to want to know every angle of you. But look at this. Obama on how his discovery of Marx and Foucault in college became inseparable from, quote, a strategy for picking up girls. He says, looking back, it's embarrassing to recognize the degree to which my intellectual curiosity those first 2 years of college paralleled the interests of various women I was attempting to get to know. Marx and Marcuse, so I had something to say to the long-legged socialist who lived in my dorms. Fannin and Gwendolyn Brooks for the smooth-skinned sociology major who never gave me a second look. Foucault and Woolf for the ethereal bisexual who wore mostly black. As a strategy for picking up girls, my pseudo-intellectualism proved most worthless. I found myself in a series of affectionate but chaste friendships. So my initial reaction to this was like, that's the saddest thing I've ever fucking heard. He was reading philosophy just to attempt to get laid. That's my gut reaction. I actually think that's really like pathetic. That's sort of like, that's just weak. But then I was reading some of the responses to this tweet and people were like, yeah, this is how like every guy gets into this stuff. And I was like, really? Now, listen, this is just me, but I felt like I was big on Chomsky. Chomsky was one of the early inspirations. And I felt like when I was reading Chomsky, if anything, it was sort of an escape from all the regular, late teens, early 20s chaos and mayhem and hormones and weird dynamics going on around you and concern about females. And like, I always felt like that was more of an oasis from the bullshit. Whereas he's admitting in no uncertain terms, like, no, the reason I was reading Marx and Foucault was because I wanted to get laid and the girls I was interested in were interested in this. So I don't know. I'm really doing this segment because I'm interested in what you guys think. Am I wrong when I say I think this is kind of pathetic? That it is like the definition of pseudo-intellectualism. I'm only going to get into this because it's a means to an end, and the end is just getting laid from some weird college chick. I think that is kind of sad and stupid. Because again, I viewed it more as like reading Chomsky was like the escape from all that other stuff. So it was good for what it was. It was interesting for what it was. It wasn't like a means to an end for something else. So I'm somewhat like offended by this because I can't fathom that somebody thinks like that. But I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Is this really the thing that happens with a lot of guys where it's like, yeah, I'll get into like, whatever, certain ideological schools of thought or philosophies because I think it's going to get me laid. Like, I understand that a lot of what people do is based around that, and I'm not judging that because that's just human nature. That just is what it is. People want to get laid, of course. So I'm not judging doing stuff to get laid. I guess what I'm saying is the intellectual pursuit leading to that as cuckish and weird and pathetic as I think, or is that really the thing that like, basically all these guys are out there doing? Because I always felt like in my experience, if somebody was interested in those topics, they really were interested in those topics. It wasn't like a means to an end for something else, or it was always like if somebody's reading Chomsky, they like Chomsky a lot. And it was never about like, let me get this done so I can get my dick sucked or whatever. So I don't know. That's why I'm asking you guys, but it's quite an admission. What I will give him credit for is the honesty of it. because he's opening himself up to criticisms from assholes like me who think this is kind of sad and pathetic. So I do give him credit for the honesty of it, and I don't think a lot of people, even if this was what they were doing, I don't think they'd be honest about it. But yeah, am I the one who's wrong? Is this actually something I shouldn't judge and something that's just kind of happens a lot? Or I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. And I guess that's because I always felt that, like, not that intellectual pursuits are like more sacred, but it was more of an escape. Like the intellectual pursuits were an escape from the normal nonsense that you have to deal with. He puts that front and center as part of the nonsense. Like, let me read this in order to get laid. And by the way, I don't think you're really going to grasp it. I don't think you're really going to digest it if that's why you're doing it. Because you're not doing it because you enjoy it. You're doing it for something else. You're doing it because the thing you enjoy is getting laid. I get it. We all enjoy getting laid, but I don't know. It kind of dirties this stuff. It kind of dirties the intellectual pursuits in a way. But hey, that might explain a lot about Obama and how he governed, I guess.